I think the biggest thing was that we weren't really wanted, right? It was very much a political enterprise that brought women into the RCMP. So a lot of members didn't want us. We were warned about that, even at Depot. Members saying, "Oh, women don't belong in the RCMP," or so the harassment was real. Although there was a lot of great guys that I worked with early on in my service, but it was that constant reminder that you're not welcome.
Women make up half the population. So there really is very little reason why women wouldn't be not just included, but would be half of the organization of public safety, including policing, corrections, etc. I had a lot of women tell me in my research that when they joined policing, they joined because they're really excited about their career and the change that they can make in the community. And they also talked about not really thinking about how impactful gender and gender inequality would be for themselves in that role and in their careers.
None of us would say that we set out to change an organization or that we wanted to make a political statement in any way. We just wanted, like most members of the RCMP, wanted to help people. I wanted to do the job, and all I wanted was the opportunity to do that job.
And what attracted me most to policing was the ability to help people in their time of need, in their time of crisis, when the day is not going well for them, and you get that 911 phone call and you're the person who shows up and you get to decide to how to help them and to do the right thing. That is what attracted me.
You know, you have young women today who are considering policing but also feel that it is somehow still a man's role, which speaks to kind of the culture of policing. So, you know, very much the culture of policing is one of men and masculinities. And so in order to be sort of heard, like in a meeting where maybe you're the only woman, they have to think deeply about how they speak and do it sort of in a way that men do.
When I first began taking on leadership roles as a corporal and sergeant, I would walk into meeting rooms or into discussions, not just internally in my organization, but even externally. They would automatically assume that you weren't in a leadership role, just sometimes by the way you looked. And if you were with other men, they would always assume the men were the supervisors. And that was because I think just not having that mindset of growth and understanding that a boss doesn't have to look a certain way. A boss doesn't have to be 6 foot tall. They don't have to be a man. They don't have to have like a certain haircut or style of communicating. It could be anyone.
Meeting so many members, female members, that are having opportunities to be in positions that was never even an opportunity.
With women in leadership, they have a lot of emotional intelligence. A lot of women are able to sense when somebody's having a difficult time expressing their thoughts. They're able to see with employees and really get down to the root cause of what's happening. They can really have a different understanding of when there's an issue with an employee, or even organizationally, they'll look for other ways to problem solve it.
Our lived experience is different than that of our male counterparts, and so therefore we are going to be different leaders. That's not to say that men aren't good leaders. I have several very good bosses, all men, great leaders, but we do need to have a fair and balanced approach. And like, to be frank, if you've never seen a woman in a position of power and you're a police officer now in a lower rank, what is going to make you think that you can do that job?
When people see women at leadership tables, it really makes it feel achievable for everyone. I know I certainly felt that way when I saw women coming into leadership roles in the RCMP. I actually looked at them and I thought, okay, I could do that too. I could be just like them.
To see women at every level, commissioned officers, and it was like, that was non-existent when I was in the force. And now, no matter where you look, women are at every rank. The sergeant major for BC, just the sweetest gal. That was not possible for a female to be a sergeant major or a corps sergeant major. And now we have a corps sergeant major who's actually in Ottawa, who's a female. And yeah, that to me is just mind-boggling. And women shouldn't take that for granted, that there wasn't a fight from the beginning for them to be where they are today.
If I'm in a situation where, if I'm in a meeting where I receive an email where the tone of that could be very pointed, or it could be with somebody who doesn't have a mindset of acceptance, I'm very quick to want to address that. Because if we don't address these issues, we allow people to treat us a certain way. And I think you're able to do that by being respectful in how you do that. I've learned a lot about that throughout the years, because people will, there are times, regardless of your gender, where people will make a judgment call and have an idea of how they want to treat you. But at times we have to be very mindful of how we want people to treat us. We have to set those boundaries.
Your opinion matters. What happens to you, you are in charge of your career and your destination, where you want to go to in the force.
I find a lot of women doubt their abilities. They maybe lack confidence, but confidence is only something you're going to gain if you do something that you're afraid of. You got to push your limits a little bit. You have to challenge yourself, and once you're successful after you've challenged yourself, you will find yourself gaining confidence. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't let fear make your decisions. If you have a desire to be in a position, a job, you need to go for it. You have to have the guts to try, and that is what will get you success.
Don't let anybody dull your sparkle. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. And I was told that many times, that you can't, that won't happen. But just to persevere and to believe in yourself and to believe that you belong, that you belong here. And there's lots of space for women in policing.